seabirds, and my grandfather before them was up in the northwestern Hawaiian Islands many times as a naturalist, starting with the Tanager expedition in 1923. In my capacity as an expert on marine fishes, I've given public commentary and testimony on many occasions in the state of Hawaii, and almost without exception, every single one of those commentaries and testimonies was in support of the fishermen. And the reason is because in almost every case, the scientific data in those examples supported the fishermen's cause. In this case, the research unambiguously supports the expansion of the monument. It's a lot more than just the fishing industry. We're hearing a lot of opposition from one aspect, the fishing industry. We are not trying to punish the fishermen. I promise you that. If I'm an advocacy scientist, the history shows that I advocate the fishermen far more than any other cause. However, in this case, the issue is far, far bigger than one fishery. It's about biodiversity that is incredibly unique, among the most unique on Earth. It is about undiscovered biodiversity and the importance that biodiversity is going to have for many generations of humans, not just my kids, not just my grandkids, but dozens of generations to come. This is a really, really big issue. The more we learn from the science, the more we understand how broad the interconnections are in ecological context that go well beyond the existing 50-mile monument. So I implore you all, please, understand the real science. Don't just wave your arms. Understand what's really going on. And I assure you, if you look at it rationally and objectively, you will agree the science supports the expansion. Mahalo.
Aloha mai kākou. My name is Peter Apo, and I am a dissenting trustee of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And I want to just say thank you to everyone who showed up tonight, irrespective of what your position is, because I think this is an important process and that everyone should come and let their voice be heard. So thank you, all of you. In my dissent, I'm especially concerned with the invoking of the Antiquities Act as the instrument of enactment, which does not require any public vetting. I cannot believe that the Antiquities Act was intended to be an instrument to deny right of entry to 580,000 square miles of Hawaii's ocean, twice the size of Texas, without an advise and consent process of the Congress, as is the case with establishing a national park. Nor is there any formal public hearing requirement at any level of the government. This is not a public hearing. This is a meeting. But believe me, I appreciate the fact that you're doing this. The lack of integrity and absence of due process would be uncharacteristic of an Obama presidency. It is my hope that this president, who grew up here and whose character and high moral fiber was shaped by life in these islands, will choose to err on the side of fairness and voluntarily trigger a full and thoughtful vetting of this issue as an obligation to all of Hawaii's people. In moving forward, I would ask, beg, plead, implore that a legitimate public hearing process is voluntarily instituted that would yield the following. Clearly validate the need and spell out with specificity what the expansion would achieve that is not achieved by the existing monument. Second, spell out precisely what is protected by the expansion that is not already addressed by existing federal and state laws, not the least of which is the Magnuson-Stevenson Act regulating commercial fishing. State exactly how the benefits are to be obtained and at what cost to the federal government, state government, and the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, and disclose any non-marine conservation objectives, such as military activity, which are exempt from the permitting process. You know, it's unfortunate that this proposal comes late in the president's term, because the legacy he may be leaving here is a legacy of division. I don't think he would want that. Finally, invoking the Antiquities Act flies in the face of a government of, by, and for the people. And with that, I leave you. Ua mao ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. The life of the land is preserved in righteousness. Mahalo.
Aloha, my name is Kai Pacaro. I'm the Executive Director of Sustainable Coastlines, Hawaii. It was about 1 year ago, I stepped off of the Hi'ialakai, a NOAA vessel, completely amazed at what I had just experienced. I had the opportunity to visit Papahanaumokuakea, and I came back a changed man. What I saw up there was some of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful place on earth. And I have been around this entire world twice now, and Hawaii is no Ka'oi. That being said, Papahanaumokuakea is even better than the Hawaiian Islands right here. But what I saw in stark contrast to the beautiful animals and the sea life was all the debris. The dirtiest beach I've ever been to was on Laysan Island on the eastern shore. And that wasn't debris from us locals. That wasn't land-based debris from people from the storm drains flushing out. This was all nets, lines. This was radio buoys, the things they attach to the front and the end of the commercial fishing lines. These are the fads that the fishermen are throwing off overboard so that they can aggregate more fish and attach devices to them so that they can ping them and return back to these things. These are washing up all over the Northwest Hawaiian Islands and even here in our local main Hawaiian Islands. So if I could do anything to protect the sea life out there, specifically the monk seals, who are extremely curious and are critically endangered, I'd love to do that. And that's why I'm in full support of the expansion of Papahanaumokuakea and urge President Obama to do the same. Aloha.
Aloha mai kākou. My name is Keoni Kuoha. I thank you for your time and your patience. This afternoon, early evening, I have an observation and two recommendations. If I get that far, I know the time limit is short. My observation is that of a Hawaiian cultural practitioner having accessed Papahanaumokuakea for many years, starting in 2003, and being familiar and friends with many of the cultural practitioners that have utilized the resources of the management team of Papahanaumokuakea in order to access this place. And my observation is that almost all, if not all, of those of us who have accessed and experienced this place firsthand, we're standing at this mic. And it's because we have felt something there that we understand is important and we've taken on a responsibility to care for. It's not about tuna fisheries, honestly. When you go there, there's a level of connectivity that you don't see anywhere else anymore. It's a connectivity we as practitioners link into and realize the importance of not just the small things that we're looking at. Yeah, it's really easy for us, Kanaka, to just focus in on little pieces. There's something beyond our comprehension, and making this move to expand Papahanaumokuakea is going to allow us to encompass more of the picture. None of us will ever be able to comprehend this picture, but as a management board, as a people that get to feed back to OHA and to the state, as well as our federal agencies, this is the best course for us in order to address the needs of the space and address the potential impacts of climate change and all the other activities that we as human beings are bringing upon this earth. Thank you for your time. Mahalo.
Aloha, my name is Della Albalati. I'm a state representative. I represent the Makiki, Tantalus, urban Honolulu areas. And I would just open by first saying that I'm actually very saddened by this room. I'm saddened that we are divided. I deliberately chose to wear blue because I knew that the people who would be for the expansion would be wearing blue. And I want to start with this notion that we all here in this room, we are all here for the same goal of sustainable oceans and sustainable fisheries. We have to keep that common goal in mind. But I am here, and I wish there was actually a microphone in the middle of the room because I really want to argue from a middle position, but this is the way the process is. And it is a deeply flawed process because it has divided our community. And for our representatives from Senator Schatz's office and Senator Hirono's office, this is a sad day. With that said, I am appreciative, Mr. Tom and Ms. Thorson, that you are here to listen to us, to listen to our community. But it is a process that where this proposal has quickly emerged, and there has been very little to almost no opportunity for a full public vetting. And I know the difficult position that the policymakers are in. I have tried to educate myself, and I have deep respect and deep aloha for both peoples on both sides of this issue. I deeply respect folks like Alani Wilhelm. But when the governor, the former governors of this state, and Senator Daniel Akaka come out in opposition, we have to all pause and ask, what is going on here? There is still a middle way. There really is. I'm reading some of the opposition, or the testimony in favor by the Hawaii Democratic Hawaii Caucus. There is still a middle way forward. And you as policymakers, the Secretaries of Commerce and the Secretaries of Interior, when they make that final recommendation to President Obama, I really urge that you look for that middle ground because it's there. And what I would really like to see is an economic analysis of what this expansion would do. And I'll close with this. Just as an anecdote of how important the fisheries and these fishermen are here to us. Just the other day, I went to Foodland and I wanted to buy some poke. $11 a pound. If the prices go up to $15 a pound, and we don't even have people making minimum wage here of $10.10 yet, what is that $11 a pound going to do? What is that $15 a pound going to do? I go to a baby luau and someone brings poke. That is a staple for us. That is food sustainability. That's food security. My best friend's husband will come from Maui. Special occasion. They're on their anniversary. We'll go to MW restaurant, or we'll go to some place that celebrates local farm to table, where they're using fish from our local fisheries. When I hear that 80% of the fish landed from these fishermen stay here in the economy, that means that are eaten here. That's my family eating poke on a Thursday. That's my family eating poke at a baby luau. That's my family going to a special restaurant on a rare occasion so that we can enjoy the local food that so many of us don't get because it's so expensive. So I only ask that you find that middle way, that you find the time to do the economic analysis of what an expansion will do. That's all I ask. Thank you.
So we wanted to offer a reminder that all comments, whether they're given orally or whether they're written down, all written comments will be read and will be considered as part of this process. We say that because we're looking at the clock and it's starting to get late. The listeners here are willing to stay longer. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick 10-minute break to give the listeners a chance to drink some water and stretch their legs. We will reconvene at 7:35. If you flew in from a neighbor island and you have a flight to catch tonight, because we are going to go past 8 o'clock, come see me up here at the break if you came in from a neighbor island and have a flight to catch tonight. Otherwise, we'll start calling names again at 7:35.
Okay, as we make our way back to the stage, Matt will start reading names again. Again, we have a lot of people who have signed up to testify. We are hoping to get through as many as possible tonight. I just want to prepare yourselves that if we do not call your name by 9 o'clock, our apologies, but you can your testimony will be submitted. So with that said, Matt, if you would like to start reading names again.
So we're going to invite up Senator Gil Rivera. Like to say a few words. Yeah.
Okay, good evening. My name is Gil Riviere. I'm the senator for Senate District 23, which is from Kaena Point around the North Shore to almost Kaneohe. I want to share a little short version of the way I'm framing my understanding of this. We have a marine life conservation district, Pupukea, Waimea. And there was a lot of consternation when that was established because people said, you're going to trample on our rights, you're going to take all our fish, you're not going to let us be able to shore fish. When the creation of the Marine Life Conservation District was established, there was very few fish and biodiversity. It was in trouble. Now, there's a lot of fish spilling out of the Conservation District. And so it's a healthy environment. I think by most of the testimony we've heard tonight, the monument existing has been beneficial. There's more biodiversity, there's more life, there's more action going on there. So it seems to make sense to me that expanding it, and expanding it greatly, is going to greatly expand the opportunity for increased biodiversity. Increased biodiversity then solves all of our issues. If there's more fish, and if fish grow to be larger, and if fish produce more, they're going to spill over more. So the statistics that have been given are contradictory. They go back and forth. It seems to make sense to me that expanding a greater protection area is going to produce more results. I would add one more thing. I am in support of OHA being a co-manager of this. I think they have resources that can add to the benefit of the expanded monument. So thank you for allowing me to testify tonight.
All right, we have two neighbor island folks that need to make their way to the airport. So will Fa'asalafa Kiriona and Kealoha Pishota please make your way to a microphone.
Talofalava. My name is Fa'asalafa Kiriona, and I am a Samoan student here at the University of Hawaii in Hilo. So what is my role? I just want to talk a little bit about my education. Since sophomore year in high school, I've always been taught conservation. And one of the ways that we conserve resources is putting out no-takes and marine protected areas. And this doesn't really encompass the full picture. When you're teaching students about conservation, are you teaching them how the local economy will be affected or how other areas will be affected? We'll always have the need to eat. So what other fish stocks will be affected because of this need for fishermen to go elsewhere? Also, I want to talk about the fishermen. They are willing to conserve resources. The fishermen are probably the most concerned about the marine resources. They don't just think about the money because the biodiversity and the marine environment influences what they catch. So looking at data from fish stocks, from fishery-based data, we can see that the fishermen are willing to help out in conservation. They're not against it. However, we don't need to jump the boat on this expansion. We can look at alternatives to conserve our marine resources. Thank you.
Sorry. Aloha, my name is Kealoha Pishoda. I'm having a hard time deciding what I should speak to. There are so many things to speak to. First, I need to say I am speaking on behalf, as a member of the Cultural Working Group and a practitioner. I'm also speaking on behalf of Mauna Kea Nainoho, which is a protection organization, as well as Kaipalawa. I'm the founder of it. I'm the president of Mauna Kea Nainoho. I want to speak to first that Papahanaumoku resides in a sacred realm. That realm is known as the Po. There are two realms like that I'm aware of. I'm sure there's probably more, but that is the high heavens of Mauna Kea, the darkest part of space. There's that Po, and the deepest, darkest part of the ocean, which is the other Po. Now, the poles are important because they contain what is known as the regenerative life forces of the sea and the land. They are the infinite darkness, but they're infinite potential for all things to come. That is why our kupuna kept them revered them, set them aside to keep them safe from exploitation. And so that is what we are talking about here. It's these realms, and we can see the regenerative forces right now as we speak. The Kumulipo tells us about these things, but our oral histories teach us also how to find those places and how to revere them, how to behave in them. And we can see the discoveries of new species. That is the regenerative forces. Those corals that are more ancient than I can imagine. Those are those places. These are the kinds of things that our kupuna understood, and they kept them sacred. So that's what I want to speak to first. The other part I want to speak to is I've heard a lot of things here today, including points of division and things like that. I don't think this is true. I think what we need to remember here is that profit just really is not a right. We are coming before you from a place of being disinterested, only interested in the conservation. But we have to say that the exploitation that will take place by the longliners in no way, shape, and form can be construed as pono fishing. And I come from a fishing culture since time immemorial, but we need to protect pono fishing, and all fishing is not created equal. I'm not sure, what does that give me? Almost pow? Okay, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take more time. Anyways, we call upon the president to support this. We support the proposal of Senator Schatz and the original Hawaiian proposal from the Cultural Working Group and the other Hawaiian leaders. Mahalo.
All right, to the microphone on your left, please. John Kaneko, Carson Honings, Bob Toyofuku, Suzanne Miking, and Dave Palmer. And to the microphone on your right, Liz Foote, Ikolu Lindsay, Linda Wong, Nicole Young, and Leighton Seal.
Thank you for a chance to say something. My name is John Kaneko. I'm from the Hawaii Seafood Council, and I'm speaking here in opposition to the expansion of the monument for the following reasons. The Antiquities Act specifically gives the executive the right to make a unilateral decision without a scientific justification or a public process. And I just think that we have something of this magnitude is so important that we should be giving it the due diligence, especially in the science, to make sure that we are first of all doing no harm by the expansion, and secondly that we look very carefully for any sort of justification. So what I'm hearing tonight, and I think continues to be a confusion, is that the precious corals and the resources inside of 50 miles of the current monument are currently protected against the activities of the longline fishery. And our fishery, I want to make this point very clearly. Our fishery is managed under the Magnuson-Stevens Act, which is the overarching fishery law of the United States, but it also operates within a regulatory framework. That means that it is in compliance with the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, the Endangered Species Act, Marine Mammal Protection Act, and the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. And without those types of oversight and the assessments that continue to be done by the federal government, that we are operating within compliance, and that this fishery is not causing the jeopardy of the continued existence of these endangered species that we're talking about. So that I'll end there, but I think we should look at the information that is already there, the scientific assessments that have been done, and take credence.
Aloha. Thank you for the opportunity to provide my testimony tonight. My background is in marine science and education, and it's been a privilege to live on Maui since 1998 and work in the conservation field. In 2008, I had the honor of being invited to Midway Atoll as part of a think tank to help a team of educators develop the Papahana Mokuakea Ahahui Alaka'i program, a 10-day experiential leadership program that brought together teachers, business people, policymakers, and other community leaders interested in learning and being inspired by science and traditional knowledge management practices. It was a transformative experience that I've never fully been able to put into words. The place is special in an indescribable way, and has profoundly affected my awareness, appreciation, and conservation worldview. It's a place that exists in contrast, part inspiration in terms of the abundance and diversity of its biological resources, and part cautionary in terms of the impacts humans have had there, such as invasive species, marine debris, and overharvesting. The privilege of being on Midway is one that few experience, but the lessons are critical for all and extend throughout and beyond the Papahana Mokuakea Marine National Monument. All these years, I have struggled with the fact that there's just no way I could ever sufficiently give back to the place or the people for this amazing honor and life-changing experience. Until now, having the chance to add my voice. It's essential that this special region of our planet be fully protected to the greatest extent possible. Expanding the boundaries to the full 200 nautical mile limit, the EZ would protect one of the most unique ocean ecosystems on the planet. I don't feel it's necessary to reiterate the scientific facts and the statistics that on their own have clearly already made the case for expansion. We know that marine reserves work when a number of conditions are met. We also know that now we have protected less than 2% of our ocean. Can we protect more than 2%? Do we as humans have the right to extract anywhere and everywhere just because we can, because we have the technology, and because we produce so many of ourselves? Or do we take bold steps now that will pay dividends in the future? To me, this is another right side of history issue. I know what side I'm on. I'm proud to stand with this coalition and ask the president to go big and be bold. Mahalo.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. There is a white Lexus out in the parking lot that's blocking the buses that need to leave. If any of you have a white Lexus, could you run out and move it, please? Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for hosting this meeting or hearing, and I really hope that there will be more than one of these, because most of the fishermen are usually out fishing whenever anything like this happens. My husband's been longline fishing out of Hawaii for 32 years. We fish responsibly. We are a model for the world. We've already taken the lead in worldwide efforts for conservation. I have a 28-year-old son who captains a longline boat, and he's probably the youngest captain out there. He's conservative also. The Hawaii fishermen already have so many area closures, yet we are only 2 or 3% of tuna fishing in the whole Pacific Ocean. We are a regulated, sustainable fishery, unlike the foreign countries who fish the same tuna stocks. Tuna is a migratory fish and does not stay in one area. Contrary to what the media portrays, we don't fish reef fish and we don't fish on the coral reef. Our 200-mile EEZ was designated decades ago for U.S. fishermen. 1/4 of that area has already been closed in the Papahanaumokeakea Monument. That area of being about 120,000 square miles of U.S. water is more than enough area for Hawaiians and their cultural practices. I would love to see the environmental groups put their money and effort toward getting the rest of the world on the same conservation level we are on, rather than trying to shut us down. There is no scientific justification to increase the closed area by 350%. It only hurts everyone who enjoys our local fresh fish. And I feel our government should be supporting what we do. Thank you.
He kanoloa nuakea. He kanoloa panavela. He kanoloa ki ala baiava ulakala. He kane ki ala ulakala. I'm Leighton Sale, and I speak with the na'au from the ancestors, our uhani. The first time I went to Papahanaumokeakea was in 1968. I'm probably the only one in this room being there in 1968. I was there on a U.S. Navy ship, the missile tracking Sunnyvale Victory. We tracked missiles and a recovery of Apollo 8 for 8 months. The first time I arrived, Papahanaumokeakea, I saw Nihua and Mokomanamana. From 2 nautical miles or more, I was so excited. I was 19 years old when the kupuna told me the stories of the islands, of our ancestors. When I saw it, you thought you were looking at Mauna Kea. It was all white snow caps. As you get closer, it was bird droppings. And you could hear the thousands of birds squawking, diving, catching fish to feed the young, to expand. 37 years later, I returned, 2005, as a practitioner with Dr. Fulani Kanakole Kanehele. I cried. She was standing watch with me. As we got close to the islands, I couldn't believe it. There was no snow caps. The birds weren't there. The first time I got there, I had Hawaiian rainbow runners, they had salmon. At nights, because the ship was so white and bright, all the ika, all the squid would surface by the millions. 2005, aole. The food gone. It hurt. I told Dr. Kanele, I'm sorry. And I cried because I saw the difference. What we did in 37 years and what we continue to do is desecrating and damaging. I was born and raised in Waiau, in front of Pearl Harbor, where we could fish, we could crab, we used to lay our net. Papa Kealoha would let us open his fish net open the fish pond open, all the fish would feed on Neho. Aole now. Pearl Harbor, poison, they get signs. Not can eat fish, poison. That's what I flash back on. We have to stop this. We have to protect what we have left. Otherwise, why are we here? Mahalo, thank you. Please think from the na'au, think of the ancestors. Mahalo.
Mr. Tom, Ms. Thorson, Mr. Weiner, Mr. Yamamoto, thank you for the opportunity to make a few comments. I did submit written testimony and I won't read any of it in detail. My major concern, I'm Bob Toyofuku. I'm an attorney and I'm also a government affairs consultant
and have been lobbying at the state legislature for over 30 years. My major concern is what basically Representative Bellotti and OHA trustee Peter Apo were talking about. The concern is that there's not enough discussion on this issue. Whenever there is a significant and controversial issue at the state legislature, the proponents and opponents are able to give their views, and then the decision makers, and I know you are not the final decision makers, you are able to question the advocates as to the veracity and truth of what they are talking about. Many people have talked about various issues and factual points here, but unfortunately there are two sides on the facts, but no one is able to question them as to whether they are true, accurate, or not. The other point I want to make is that the only industry that is being affected here adversely is the fishing industry. And that doesn't mean that you cannot have conservation and protect the environment while still allowing fishing. I am unable to connect the dots as to how fishing in this expanded area adversely impacts the environment. Quick issue, people have said we need to protect the coral. The coral is on the bottom. Usually, even in the seamounts, it's 1,500 meters down. And the longliners drop their lines 400 meters. I hope you consider this. Thank you very much.
Sorry, the white Lexus is still there, and the number is PNU 701. Are any of you the lucky owners of a white Lexus? Please go outside and move your car. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm an environmental scientist here in Oahu, and I just want to start by saying I'm really glad that a lot of young people are out here. I think it's awesome that they're educating themselves, that the 14-year-old boy came up here and was so passionate about that. I think that's amazing, and it should be encouraged to start educating yourself at a young age. I know I did. I know a lot of my friends and colleagues did as well. So I spend most of my time free diving here in Hawaii, and I'm ready to see some reef that's not covered in line. I'm ready to get out there and not have to go and pick up tons of this debris from fishing. And I think that this is an amazing way to start that. I also just want to say, I don't think that this is any way an attack on the fishing industry. I think that this is something that's going to help the small businesses of Hawaii eventually. I think it's going to encourage regrowth, rebuilding of these populations, and it's crucial. As people have been saying, it's not necessarily needed right this second, but I think that 10, 15 years down the line, this rebuild, this regrowth of these ecosystems that are dwindling is going to be really, really crucial to the fishing industry, to these businesses, to the foodlands that are selling poke. So again, I'm just really grateful to see all these people out here. I just love that there was a 14-year-old boy here that was like so passionate about this. It's really inspiring. So thank you, mahalo.
Hello, my name is Carson Honings. I'm a longline captain. I just came in this morning. I'd first like to start by saying that we are the biggest conservationists that there is. We want our fishing to be passed on to our kids. My son's a longline fisherman. My grandfather was a fisherman, so was my father. So it's not like we just want to go destroy everything. We are conservationists. We don't want to pass down the legacy of wiping everything out. You know, the amount of trash that's in the water, not coming from the Hawaiian longliners. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the one that's out there 300 some days a year. People can tell me what they think. I'm the one that sees it. We love the ocean. We live the ocean. So, you know, with that said, I mean, there's been a lot of good testimony here. You know, people are talking from the heart. And I just want everyone to know that we're trying, you know, we try to make it, sorry, you know, distracting. But At any rate, I just wanted to know, we're the biggest advocates of the conservation movement. We don't try to kill anything besides what we got. In the Hawaiian longline fishery, everything goes to the market. There's no waste. That's another thing everyone has to consider. This fishery, there is very little bycatch compared to other fisheries, and everyone should respect that. Thank you very much.
Aloha. My name is Ikolu Lindsay. I came over from Maui and Lahaina. I represent Maui Cultural Lands and Polanui Hiu Community Management Kai area, as well as Uhane o Wa'akaulua, or the spirit of the Bahol canoe. Our area on Maui and Lahaina is pretty much depleted. We cannot practice our cultural practices because everything is gone. And I hate to see that happen, so we need to do something now. I am in support of the expansion. I'm also in support of having OHA at the seat of the table. It's a co-management position that's very important in order for this to work properly. Also want to say that, life began at Papahanaumokuakea, the Kumulipo. That's the realm of the gods of Wauakua. I had the opportunity to sail on Hikianalia there last summer. And there's this spiritual reawakening that anybody can experience by being there. It pulls at your na'au, your chakra, your chi, your ki. It pulls at the very center of you by reawakening the fire for the spirit of the cultural connectivity. And it's an amazing experience. I kind of liken that to having your first child. It's just, wow, awesome. So what can we do to save this place? I had the opportunity to dive there. A lot different from what I normally dive. I saw a lot less fish than I expected, and I saw millions of birds. So it's like when you go to your grandma's house, your tutu's house, and you're hungry. You open the refrigerator, you take the food you like, throw the rest away on the ground. Grandma's on Social Security, she can only buy so much food. But I'm only going to take what I need. I'm going to waste the rest. I hate to see that happen up here. We'll be submitting 1,314,306 signatures that we got worldwide on the web. Out of that, 70,000 of that was from the United States. We got over 105,000 comments. All will be submitted in a package to support the expansion of Papahanaumokuakea National Monument. Mahalo.
Dave Palmer, Captain Longliner, and I've heard a lot of testimony here today, and all I got to say is I would invite any person on the opposition to come take a ride with me and see how it's really done, and then you'll know what you're talking about.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to speak and participate in this process. My name is Linda Wong. I'm a Diamond Head Neighborhood Associate Advocate. I'm in strong support of the expansion of the Marine National Monument movement. I think we owe it to the next generation and many generations to come to protect more of the ocean. Consider the plastic garbage patch and the single-use plastic that will never break down. The Marine Sanctuary will create advantage for the native Hawaiian OHA that supports this expansion. This is a world-class marine monument that should be, that will be protected, the ocean, and it will show a great monument for other generations to come, and that'll be a great monument that will show a great thing to follow for other countries and other, it'll just show everybody else what to do, and it'll be a world-class exhibit for everybody to come to follow. Thank you very much. Mahalo.
Thank you for allowing me to speak at this
My name is Norman Avial. I used to work for Hawaiian Electric for 37 years. I spent my time on an aku boat, the Sunfish. Way back before that, before the days of poke, we used to have Libby's corned beef with the grease and Vienna sausage. That was our poke, if you guys remember that. When I was young, my mom used to bring us a fish. We used to loam it right on the table with the Hawaiian salt and green onions. Now somebody thought about making poke. We never had money to spend for sashimi, okay? So this area that you're trying to protect, 90% of you here will never fish in that area. You're protecting something that you will never go there unless you work there or you're on a commercial boat. So why are we protecting that from the people that want to go there? You're saying you cannot fish there. The longliners take them 4 days before they can lay their first line, the 30-mile line, and if they're lucky, they catch nine ahi, if they're lucky. I know of them 30 miles and they come back, 1 ahi, if they're lucky. So think about it when you're protecting something. In 1984, the longliners came here. Before that, we had nehu. Now we don't have nehu. So there's no akus around. Then they bought tilapia. They put it on Tan Island. Tilapia is too big. The aku's not going to change that. So think about what you're trying to do now. And I say you're going the wrong way. Thank you.
All right, the next 5 on either side, please, to the microphone on your left. Jim Hori, Stephen Lee, Kilikina Kekumano, Don Ariyoshi, and Joni Kamiya. And to the microphone on your right, Grant Harada, Deborah Evans, Caitlin Allen, Nohealani Shozen, and Micah Arnold.
I guess I'll start. My name is Stephen Lee. I'm a representative from Hawaii Fishermen's Alliance for Tradition and Conservation. Our organization represents a number of nearshore fishermen, both commercial, non-commercial, and recreational. And we are here to voice our opposition to the expansion of the monument. Thank you for the opportunity. We would wish you would have more and actually full hearings on this issue to fully vet both sides so that you know what the facts really are. Hawaii Fishermen's HFAC itself usually restricts itself to the smaller fishermen. But because of all the controversy that has come out, we have come out in opposition to the monument because we see no beneficial effect from creating such a huge monument in an area that's already restricted to access. The current sanctuary is 50 miles around the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. Those 50 miles are still being explored. In order to go there, we need to get a permit. Not every permit is allowed. I think when I looked at the statistics, even the permit for Hawaiian practitioners, there were only 2. 2 were applied for and 2 were allowed, which is okay because that's the level of their interest. The fishing industry has a vested interest in that whole area because fish move. As you've heard from other fishing representatives here, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. It's important for us to have that resource available and that area open to the opportunity when the fish are there. But as Representative Bella Alati said, there is room for agreement on the issue. I don't think it's an issue that is all or nothing to either side. Okay? There is room for commercial fishing, there is room for access. Certainly there is a lot of room for Hawaiian practitioners there. In that regard, we would ask this panel to convey the opinions of people here and consider it deeply. Give us more time so that you can hear all the facts before using the Antiquities Act. I would just like to point out one thing on the Antiquities Act. The Antiquities Act specifically says that before you issue and create the sanctuary, the president has to determine what the smallest area is necessary to accomplish the goals. Specifically sets forth in the Antiquities Act. Whether or not this expansion to 200 miles is small, compared to what is being protected is a big question in our minds. So we would ask your consideration to that. Thank you.
All right, I guess we'll go 5 more names on your right side. Caitlin Crawford, Christopher.
Good evening. I'm Kilikina Kekamano. I'm from the Waianae side. And my question is, how can you expand something you don't own? The congressional record in the U.S. Congress in the District of Columbia, May 4th, 1866, simply describes by federal law that the federal government owns no Hawaiian islands, meets and bounds, and islands that are in what you call the state of Hawaii. More important evidence is affected by the fact that when you came, your country came in January 17th, 1893, that was an invasion on our neutral kingdom. Those meets and bounds and those 132 islands were registered in Bern, Switzerland after our 1840 Constitution under King Kamehameha III. Those meets and bounds and those islands are still registered in Bern, Switzerland. That's why the state of Hawaii only has no meets and bounds under Section 2 of August 21st, 1959. What I'm saying is that our fishermen, my whole name is Kilikino Okalani Kalialoha Kekomano Mano O Ke Kapu from my 7th great-grandmother of 1734. What I'm telling you, our life of the land is the fish that the fishermen bring in for us to live. In 17 days, I'm going to be 65. Do you know why I look like this? It's because of the fish. It's because of the ahi and everything I eat from the aina. This is how we live. I'm not an Indian tribe. Please don't do this to us. You already destroyed the buffalo 200 years ago, and that killed 563 tribes. Please don't do this to us. I want to thank Senator Thielen mentioning about the boundaries. The boundaries of what? 3 miles? Well, let me tell you what the boundaries were. This is recent history. Reagan's presidential proclamation of October 4th, 1988. He went to 20 DOJs, Department of Justice, attorneys, and the Assistant Attorney General, Douglas Kamek, came back and he told President Reagan he couldn't find what constitutional law holds Hawaii to the state of Hawaii. That is recent history. That's not, he couldn't extend the territorial boundaries because he wanted to protect our fishermen. He wanted to protect us from Japan and Russia. So he wanted to extend it past 3 miles. He couldn't do it October 4th, 1988, and you legally can't do it now. Thank you.
My name is Caitlin Allen. I'm a senior at Punahou School, and I've come to share my support of the expansion of Papahanaumokuakea. So I'm a high school senior, and I've only had a high school education. My involvement in this project is extremely new and fairly limited, but from my understanding through the education that I've been graciously granted through Punahou School, I have nurtured an extreme respect for the ocean and for the conservationist movement. And from my understanding, I'm in extreme support of the expansion of Papahanaumokuakea because our world is changing, our oceans are changing, and as a result of climate change and other factors such as ocean acidification, our oceans are under threat. And we have established Papahanaumokuakea to be a sanctuary back in the day. And I think that we should really take a step to expand it further as a preemptive action to help protect our species that are going to come under threat in the future. Papahanaumokuakea has some of the highest rate of endemism in the entire world, to my knowledge. And I think that that is something that we, as people of Hawaii, should take extreme pride in, and we should take measures to protect that. which I think are best if we expand the areas that they are protected under. I also think that when Papahanaumokuakea was first proposed, it was the largest marine sanctuary in the entire world. Now it's 10th, and I think that that's very important because when this monument began, it was the largest, and that prompted other countries in the world to expand their national marine monuments. And I think that if we push it to expand it to make it once again the largest in the world, it will prompt other countries and it will show us as leaders in the sustainability movement, and hopefully we'll be able to do our part to expand sustainability throughout the globe. Thank you very much.
All right, 5 more for the microphone on your left. Antoinette Lee, Didi Heron, Della L. Baladi, Stacy Hamashi, and Nico Chase. I'm sorry, Stacy Hayashi and Nico Chase. And for the microphone on your right, Caitlin Crawford, Christopher Evans, Jason Evans, Sarah Jenkins, and Lorraine Garnier.
Aloha. My name is Tony Lee Antoinette, or better known as Tony Lee, and I am the president of the Pearl Harbor Hawaiian Civic Club. First of all, I want to say thank you to all the fishermen. Thank you for being the caretakers of our ocean. Thank you for being responsible fishermen. And thank you for bringing us fish. As we all know, and this is so wonderful to see all these young people, but I know they don't shop. It's cheaper to eat steak than it is to eat fish. That's a sad day for Hawaiian. We had kupuna here tonight. And the most senior one, I guess, was Governor Ariyoshi and our Senator Akaka. You know, back in the day when the kupuna spoke, that was it. No other discussion. And what they are asking is what we should honor as the kupuna of our place. That's what I was always taught as a young child. We are here to take care of all the Hawaiians now, and those to come, and those yet unborn. We need to be careful of what is ready to happen. Every time in my lifetime, and I'm going to be 75 soon, anytime it has to do with anything Hawaiian, they're in a hurry. We've got to make a decision now. Why is that? Because we count, because what we do is important. Remember, nearly 23% of the waters surrounding Hawaii are no-takes reserves where fishing is prohibited, which is a greater percentage than scientists recommend protecting to maintain healthy oceans. In other words, our oceans are healthy. And thank you for NOAA for even pointing that out. So what we're doing is fine. Why do we need an expansion of the monument? We need to listen to our kupuna. The federal government should not rush into a decision about expanding the Papahanaumokuakea monument without thinking through the consequences and providing the requisite transparency for Hawaii and its people before considering the expansion. We are for OHA having a seat, but you need to think about this. This year in February, we had an AHA. We're very close now to becoming a nation. When we become a nation, and we will, OHA will be dissolved, and then who is going to take care of us? We won't have any seat at all. Think about that. Mahalo.
Hi, I'm Nohea Shozen from Puno. I'm 17, and I'm here to represent the next generation.